First of all, I'd say that strategy is one of the most overused, but probably least understood words in sports development, public policy, and a number of areas that I work in. I'd say that strategy is a long-term plan to achieve your aims. Typically, a strategy, I think, should last for 2 or 3 or 5 years. I think it's also useful to think about what a strategy is not. A strategy is not an operational plan. It's not a plan of tactics for how you're going to get through the next 24 hours or the next 2 weeks. And finally, I'd say that a good strategy comprises 3 things: a vision, a mission, and a set of values. The vision, I'd say, is how you want the world to change. The mission is how you will make that happen and how you'll close the gap between where we are now and where you want to get to. And the values, which I actually think are the most important bit, is how you will do this and the types of culture and behaviour that you think are important in achieving your strategy. Actually, I think it's important for every organisation to know about strategy and to have one, to understand it, to review it, and to let the strategy evolve over its life as well. I think it's actually helpful to think about what happens in the absence of good strategy. I think the best thing that can happen if you don't have a strategy is you start to drift, you don't achieve your potential, and you can become quite wasteful. To be a bit more dramatic, I think if you don't have a strategy, you simply may not be here in 5 years' time because you don't have a credible plan and a credible roadmap for how you're going to get from here to the place in the future. Given that we're recording this at a time of incredible challenge and unprecedented issues that we're all facing, this heightens now more than ever why you need enduring values and also a strategy to see you through these kind of times as well, and to have a clear vision of where you want to get to. I think that sports organisations actually have got much better over the last few years in terms of how they develop and plan their strategy, and also how they use that strategy as well to be a guide for their performance, how they're making decisions, and how they're allocating resources. For me, I still think the most comfortable strategic territory for most sports organisations that I work with is around participation. I think sports organisations are skilled and comfortable in developing strategies for sustaining and growing their participant base. The area of significant opportunity and where I'd like the sports sector to perhaps do a bit more and move more quickly is how they relate their own strategy to what's happening in the wider external environment. So, for example, how can participation in a sport and involvement in what the sport does actually contribute to wider social policy agendas, play a role in the economy, and also respond to changing consumer trends and make sure that strategically we understand the way people want to consume our sport and our activity in future. Well, if you don't understand what your strategic purpose is, and if you don't have any skills and experience in developing a strategy, I'd slightly question what you do all day. That isn't to say that you don't know what you're doing or you're not doing great stuff. But if you're not planning things in a strategic way, how do you know that all the hard work you're doing, or your tactical work, or your operational work is actually contributing to a bigger goal? Without understanding a strategy too, how do you make sure that you're not doing what's called mission drift? So you're just engaging in lots of different activity, which isn't actually contributing to the overall strategic health of the organization. Finally, I'd say that we live in a very disrupted and challenging world at the moment. And without having an understanding of your core strategic purpose and ultimately what you're trying to achieve, I think it's very easy to lose sight and very easy to lose motivation too about what we're supposed to be doing. So I'd say that an understanding of what your strategy is, how it's evolving, and what your future strategy should be is absolutely essential to performing well in any job.